Hello everyone, welcome back to GeekDisorder's web series, or HTML5 CSS3 JavaScript and jQuery. This is Lavik and I'll be walking you through this series. Alright, today we're going to be going over how to float an image. And what floating is sometimes we have, since we're doing text right now, when you have an image, you don't want your text to always be underneath the image. And so what floating does, it allows you to move like a paragraph, a header, or something like that up and to the up and to the side of the image. So the best way to know exactly what I'm talking about is to see it in action. Okay, so in front of me I have a basic HTML5 document, and I have it on my desktop inside of a folder. Okay, and I've had that folder right here, and inside that folder, as you can see, I have a image and my HTML document. Alright, so down here in my body, I'm gonna go ahead and add the image I've got. So I'll put my image tag along with my source, and since the image is in the same folder as my HTML document, I don't have to worry about the paths or anything like that. So I can just put the image name, and I just named it image, and it's a PNG file. Okay, now I'm gonna put me some alt text, and I'm just gonna put let's see, HTML5 CSS3 logo, just like that. Alright, I'm not going to worry about my width or height or anything, so I'm just going to close my image. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save this, show you what we have so far, make sure it's working, and there it is. Alright, now below it I am going to put a H1, and I'm just going to put HTML5 CSS3. Okay, go ahead and close my H1 here, and if I save and run this again, there you go. You can see that my H1 is directly underneath my image, and that's how it works. But to change that functionality, to make, if I want my my header here, head 1, up and to the right where it's beside the image, how do I do that? Well, I can do that by floating my image. So so how do you float something? I'm gonna go up here to my style. I'm gonna target my image, and there we go. Open, close my curly braces there. Alright, and all I do to float an image is I put float, and I tell it how I want to float it, and I want to float mine to the left. Okay, I'm gonna save this, launch in Firefox. And you can see when I float my image and I float it to the left, I'll show you what the right does here in a second. Change my, there we go. And as you can see, oops, the H1 moves from below it, and it moves up and fills the space beside the image. Okay, now let's change this up a little bit. Let's put float right. Okay, and launch that in Firefox. You can see here my image is to the right, but it's still floated because the text is not below it. It actually moved up and filled the open space beside it. Okay, so I'm going to change this back to the left here. Alright, down here in my for my H1, I can copy this, and I can place several of them, and I can save and run this. As you can see, as soon as the text gets below the bottom of the image, it'll move back over to where it was. But let's say I have a paragraph, and I'll add one here, remove those and add a paragraph. I'll put this as some text, close my paragraph, run this again. Alright, let's say I just want my H1 beside it. Say I'm creating some kind of a header or something, and I want my paragraph to be below everything. I want it to be below the image, below the H1, back where it's supposed to be. So how do I do this? How do I make my paragraph here move down? The way to do this is to target what you want, where you want the float to stop, and we don't want the paragraph to float up next to the image. We don't want to do that, so we want to somehow we want to unfloat the image just for the paragraph. And the way we do this is we target the image we want it to stop at, okay? And we put clear, okay, and left. I can put clear right if it's floated right, and so on. And I'm just being very basic on floating right now. Later on, I'm going to cover floats in more detail. So I'm just kind of giving you the know-how in order to float some text and stuff like that to make to do some different stuff with images. But okay, so I can clear my left on my paragraph, and if I save this, launch in Firefox, you can see my head, the H1 is still floating up near the image. Okay, the paragraph though is back down below the image. It is not floating up next to it. It's not filling the space, and it's where I want it to be. Okay. Well, as I said before, this is just very basic on floating images and elements and stuff like that. I'm going to cover this in much more detail later on, but I just kind of wanted to give you that functionality. And so this has been Lavic with Geek Disorder. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if y'all do like our content, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see y'all next time.